The sum of a given infinite geometric progression is 80, and sum of the first two terms is 35. And the value of n for which the sum of its first n terms is closest to 100 is a very interesting question. So infinite is equal to, so a by 1 minus r is equal to 80. A plus ar is equal to 35. First term is a, common ratio is r, we know this world. A plus ar is the first two terms, that is 35. A by 1 minus r is 80. I'm going to write this as a times 1 plus r is 35. A by 1 minus r is 80. Two equations, two variables. We have to find some way of manipulating this and getting a and r. We can think of this as a plus ar square plus ar cube, all of that. Starting with ar square, we can find the remaining sum and then do something. Or we can divide this by that. A will disappear. Deal with r and then go from there. I'm going to divide this by this. A into 1 plus r divided by a by 1 minus r. The a gets cancelled. This is equal to 35 by 80, or this is 1 plus r into 1 minus r is 35 by 80 is 7 by 16. 1 minus r square is 7 by 16, or r square is 9 by 16. The moment I see 9 by 16 as r square, I'm very happy, because now I know r is 3 by 4. Then I pause and then say, look, I'm no longer 11 years old or 12 years old. I cannot say r is 3 by 4. I have to say r is plus or minus 3 by 4. R square is 9 by 16. R could be 3 by 4 or minus 3 by 4. When we come back to this, a into 1 plus r is 35. R could be 3 by 4, because a into 7 by 4 is 35. A is 20. This means the first term is 20. 3/4 of that, 15. 15 into 3 by 4, 45 by 4, and so on. That is the sequence. First two terms add up to 35. Infinite terms will add up to 80. That will work. Or we could say r is minus 3 by 4. A into 1 by 4 is 35. A is 140. First term is 140. Second term is 140 into 3 by 4, but negative. So minus 105. Third term is 105 into 3 by 4, which is 315 by 4. This will become positive, multiplying by minus 3 by 4. This sequence is a series of diminishing positive terms. This sequence is a series of magnitude diminishing, but plus and minus alternating. And so this will move like this to a very small number. This will move in a straight line to a very small number. First terms are positive. The common ratio is less than 1, between minus 1 and plus 1. This side it is 0 to 1, so it is diminishing sequence. Minus 1 to 0, its magnitude keeps shrinking, but it alternates between plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, like that. Nice, brilliant. So somewhere we want to find the value of n for which the sum of its first n terms is closest to 100. So when will this become closest to 100? 45 by 4 is 11.25. 20 plus 15, 35 plus 11.25, 46.25. I have 54 more remaining. Remember, it's a diminishing sequence. The first three terms add up to 46.25. After that, this term into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 is this term. 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 is 9 by 16. Into 3 by 4 is 27 by 64. Less than half. So these three terms add up to 46.25. The next three terms will add up to less than half of that. Maybe 20. We'll go to 66. The next three will add up to less than half of 20. We'll go to 75. How are we going to go all the way till 100? Because the question is also saying the answer is 6, 5, 7 or 4, somewhere here. Fine. So then I pause and say, hey, when can this happen? This can never happen. Why? Because a bunch of positive terms. If I add all of them, I get 80. That's a very initial premise of this question. Sum of all terms, infinitely many terms, adds up to 80. A bunch of positive terms, infinitely many terms add up to 80. How can a few terms add up to 100? Not possible. So there is no solution for n in this scenario. There may be on that scenario. Right? Why so? Infinite terms add up to 80, but there could be a scenario where something in between adds up to 100. Because my total, one term total is 140, two terms total is 35, three terms total will be higher, four terms total will be lower, fifth term my total will increase, sixth term my total will decrease, seventh term my total will increase, eighth term my total will decrease. So I am alternating between plus and minus. So if I want my total to be close to 100, if I add these two terms, first sum up to one term is 140, sum up to two terms is 35, it crashes. And if I take pairs of terms, they will be positive. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. If I take 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, each of this is positive. And all of them put together will add up to 80 eventually, that I know. Which means, if I add an even number of terms, my sum cannot be 100. I'll have to add an odd number of terms. Right? So, I am thinking about sum up to one term, sum up to three terms, sum up to 5 terms, sum up to 7 terms, sum up to 9 terms. Somewhere here is when the overall total can be more than 80 and possibly reach up to 100. That's where I want to grab where it is closest to 100. Sum up to one term is 140. That's not my answer. I know that. This 315 by 4 is 320 by 4 is 80. So this is 78.75. These two add up to 35. 35 plus 78.75. 0.75, 5 plus 8, 13, 3, 1. 113.75 for sum up to 3 terms. More than 100. Close to 100, but I don't think it's close enough. So I'm going to say, hey, not sum up to 1 terms, not sum up to 3 terms. Not happening here. 5, 7, 9 somewhere could be the answer. Or if I look at the choices, it is 5 or 7. Right? So I'm thinking sum up to 5 terms, sum up to 7 terms, whichever is closest to 100, that's my answer. And so now let's dive down into the detail. So 140 minus 105, 315 by 4, this into minus 3 by 4, next term, etc., etc., etc. So we need to know where we'll go closest to 100. Right? Let's find sum up to 5 terms, then we'll worry about sum up to 7 terms. These two add up to 35. This into 9 by 16 is this, this into 9 by 16 is this. I'm thinking about odd terms and even terms. This into 3 by 4 into 3 by 4. Minus 3 by 4 into minus 3 by 4, twice 9 by 16. This into minus 3 by 4 into minus 3 by 4, 9 by 16. So if I take sum up to 4 terms, that will be 35 plus 35 times 9 by 16. Likewise, sum up to 6 terms is 35 plus 35 times 9 by 16 plus 35 times 9 by 16 whole square. Sum up to 5 terms will be this plus the 5th term, whatever the 5th term is. Right? So let me put what the 5th term is. 5th term is 140 into 3 by 4 whole power 4. 7th term is 140 into 3 by 4 whole power 6. Nice. So I find this, add the 5th term, see if I am close enough to 100. And then I find this, add the 7th term, see if I am close enough to 100. That's my answer. And so 35 into 1 plus 35 into 9 by 16. So this is 35 into 25 by 16. So sum up to 5 terms is 35 into 25 by 16 plus 140 into 81 by 256. Nice, lovely, complicated, painful, but hey, let's power through. I'm going to cancel a 4 here. This is also 35. This becomes 64. So 35 I bring out, multiply by 25 by 16, which is 100 by 64 plus 81 by 64. 35 into 181 by 64. So 181 by 64, whatever that is, 35 into that number is what our answer is. 180 by 64, if I do, I can 45 by 16. So 35 into 45 by 16, close enough to that, what you're looking for. 35 into 181 by 64, if I have a calculator, I'll punch it in and get the value. I'll see where this goes to. This side is 35, let me find this number. 35 into 180 by 64, I can think of that. So 35 into 45 by 16. 35 into 45, let me do 35 into 45. 45 into 35, 5 45s are 225, 5 22, 45 into 3 is 137, 135, 157, 1575 by 16. 1600 by 16 is 100, little less than 100. It's not 180, it is 181. I want to say, hey, this is nice, very close to 100, close to 99. Very close to 100, I'm really liking it. Then this side I go, and if that turns out to be further away from 100, I'm happy. And then this is my answer. S5 is less than 100, close to 100. Right? Now S7 I have to compute. S7 is this number, S6 plus T7. Now I have an idea. I say, hey, I have to compute S7. But if you think about it, sum up to one term is 140. Sum up to three terms is 140 plus 140 minus 105 plus 78.75, 113.75. Sum up to 5 terms is 99. If I have sum up to 5 terms, I'm adding 6th term and 7th term to get a sum up to 7th term. 6th is negative, 7th is positive. 6th is more magnitude negative than the 7th one. So term 6 plus term 7 will be negative. So S7 will be smaller than S5. This will be smaller than S7. Got my answer. Answer is S5. If this number were not 99, it had 101.5, then I'm worried. The next number could be 99.7. This is 99. This will be less than 99. What is closer to 100? 99 or a number less than 99? 99 is closer to 100. That is my answer I'm looking for. So the term, nearest term n for it to be nearest to 100 is fine.